Welcome to a new anime review series. This is my first review of Dragon Ball GT. Now you're probably thinking, why did I say GT like that for? Well, there's a good reason for that, because that's how the English dub narrator bothers to do basically how he says the letters GT. Now you're probably thinking, okay, now this one's covering the most despised saga of this particular series. People who like this series hate this one. This is the Black Star Dragon Ball Saga. Yep, a 16 episode arc that everybody hates. This is probably by far one of the two arcs of the series people really hate. And yet, the other saga is really short, and yet people hate that saga for a different reason. This is also referred to as the lost episodes, because for some reason when this was originally aired, apparently they skipped over this saga for some reason. Maybe because it wasn't very popular, so that's probably the reason why. And here's something though. There is a few things people don't like about this series. I mean, for example, the letters GT. The most common what those two letters stand for is Grand Tour. Laughingstock Media, I kind of agree with him because of how the series is. What GT actually stands for is Goku Time. Yep, because it's all about Goku. We can't move on different characters in the series. We have to focus on frickin' Goku. I wonder how Sean Chim feels about this series. Yep. Now, hold on a second here. I actually own this one. Yes, believe it or not, I own GT. I actually bought it just recently. Here it is. Dragon Ball GT. Got the entire 64 episode series. I don't know if this contains the special of the series. I think it does. Yeah, I think it does contain the special, but yes. Yeah. Now, okay. The series starts out, opens up with some big battle happening at the lookout. Who's battling? Goku and Oob. Meanwhile, though, the first thing we see, aside from the lookout being nearly blown to smithereens, we see Emperor Pilaf, Mai, and Shu flying at the lookout. First question I have to ask here: one, how in the world they find out about this place? And two, the thing they're basically looking for, which they do find here, how the heck they find out about this stuff? Okay, they climb up there, and meanwhile, though, Goku and Oob are basically beating the crap out of each other. This big epic battle happening inside the lookout, which heavily damages the actual lookout itself. There's cracks everywhere, floors being destroyed. It's an epic disaster area. Eventually, of course, Goku and Oob finally finish. They heal up, and, well, apparently, 10 years, this is according to the dub, 10 years have passed by since the end of Dragon Ball Z. So, does this mean Goku is in his 50s, I'd say? Probably 40s-ish. Oob definitely looks bigger. By the way, after this first episode, Oob disappears for a long period of time. Doesn't show up until toward the end of Baby. Yep. The only change for Oob is that apparently he's put on some muscle. Goku, aside from the fact he's still wearing the same attire he wore at the end of Dragon Ball Z, the blue top and yellow pants with the white belt, yeah, it's the same exact outfit. Basically, no change for him. And what's Emperor Pilaf? We see what Emperor Pilaf looks like, and he has aged. Oh my gosh, he has aged. I mean, he looks like looks like an old man. Shu didn't look like he aged very much at all, aside from the fact his clothes a little bit wrinkly. Wow, this woman who is basically known for if you watch Dragon Ball, this woman was smoking hot. Now apparently her hair has changed from raven to blue. She looks a bit older. I mean, she definitely looks like her age. I'd say she's probably in her 70s, I'd say. Not know exactly how old she is, but she definitely looks older. And also, last time I checked, when people go older, the hair changes to white or at least gray. Not frickin' blue. But that's probably the anime for you. Maya, of course, looks like she's wearing slightly different attire, but look how they retain the same voice actor for these three characters. Now, what are these three up here looking for? They're looking for the Black Star Dragon Balls, which were created by Kami for his separation. How in the world did he find out about these damn balls? And here's the thing. Apparently these balls, unlike the regular ones, which are scattered all over the frickin' earth, these are not scattered. These are all at top of the lookout. And they're dusty, and apparently there's skeletons underneath. Where the heck those skeletons came from, no idea. So, it's basically Mai tells, Pilaf tells Mai, pick up all the Dragon Balls and skeletons. Like, Mai's like, sure. Yeah, and she has tendency for it to Pilaf as sire, because he's a royal ruler. And he wants to rule the world again, obviously. And then they lay on the balls and they summon Shinron. Now, you're probably thinking, Shinron, you mean the big green Chinese-style dragon? Nope, this one's red. Why in the world this one's red? No idea. And why he's called Shinron? No idea. It's never... Unlike the regular Dragon Balls, which, according to Super, can actually grant 3 wishes, this one only grants just 1. And Goku, after eating a very fancy meal, decides to go, yeah, I'm going to go home. And all of a sudden he senses, like, what the heck is going on here? And he walks over, and he sees Pilaf, Mai, and Shu. He says, oh, you're Emperor Pilaf. I remember you. Yeah, this is after it's convincing. Because here's the thing. This is the first time in universe that, according to this series, that Goku has seen these 3 since... I kid you not, the Fortune Teller Babidi Saga. That was the last time officially these 3 that Goku has seen these 3. But the last these 3 showed up was actually back in King Piccolo. Yes. Now I kind of assumed they did show up in Dragon Ball Z. They didn't. They never showed up in the series. Why in the world these 3 are here for? Why now? Why in this series? Never explained. Also, before I continue with basically talking about this first episode, what was the reason for the creation of GT? The reason? Money! Because Toei loved that Dragon Ball Z money and they really want to continue the series despite the fact that the manga already ended. There is no source material for this to draw from. This is all original stuff. Now, they would use the same premise for Super, but that was a lot more better received than GT was. Goku ends up kind of fighting them, basically after firing some rockets at them. And then Pilaf, being very stupid, asks for a very stupid wish. I wish you were a kid again. And Goku turns to a kid. Yeah, the first aspect of the series people tend to complain about. Goku turned to a child. Probably by far one of the most despised things about the series. Turning Goku into a child. Luckily enough, I think that the original voice actor for Goku, the one who originally voiced him in the dub back in Dragon Ball, I'm sure she was happy. I'm sure Sean Schemmel was not happy with the fact, hey, I get to play my character, and all of a sudden, oh crap, he turned into a child. By the way, Sean Schemmel will not reprise the character until, like, the Baby Saga, when he becomes, well, what you see here on the cover. Yeah, on the cover of this. Which is one of the things people like about GT. But I'll talk about that when I talk about the Baby Saga. And then they just scatter. Right after that, Pilaf, Mai, and Shu disappear and never see the series ever again. Yeah, as far as I know, they're never seen or mentioned ever again. Actually, they do pop up once toward the end of the series. I believe it was during the second to last Saga series for a quick cameo. And that's it for those 3. Yeah, they do nothing after this. Then Goku basically, like, this happy turned to a child and the Black Dragon was scattering. Like, oh crap, this thing's scatter. Basically, you need to get him up, right? Basically, it'll be fine. And then, of course, King Kai calls back and there's real trouble. So Goku goes back down to Earth and he basically just walks about and, of course, stops the restaurant to eat some food. And then there's a bank robbery. And then we see Pan. Yes, another one character in the series. A lot of people do not like this character. Well, this version of Pan. People hate this version of Pan because of how annoying she is. I don't have a really big problem with the character. She's useful, and she's more mature than some of the other characters here. Despite the fact she's the youngest. In case you're wondering, how old is Pan at this point? She's supposed to be 13. And apparently she's going on a date. Yes, a date. And People don't take her seriously because she's a little kid. Of course, Goku steps in. Of course, she thinks Goku is a little boy. Nope. And then we see Roshi show up. Yes, Roshi. Wearing the same sunglasses he wore at the end of Dragon Ball Z. These visor sunglasses. Not the cool sunglasses he had prior to this. He still, of course, has done his usual thing of being a pervert, rubbing women's legs, getting the crap out by women. And he sees Goku, and of course, Goku and Pan's like, Master Roshi, and of course, Roshi's like, what? And of course, he recognizes Pan right away because he's been seeing her. And he takes him in like, oh, Goku, it's you. He's like, what the heck happened to you? He's like, long story. And then we see Chi-Chi, Videl, and Gohan. Gohan looks like there's pretty much no change to him at all. He looks exactly the same as he did at the end of GZ. As a matter of fact, I don't think appearance-wise, this character's changed since the Majin Buu arc. Aside from like the pair of glasses to him, he looks exactly the same. Videl does look a little bit older. She looks about, appearance-wise, almost similar age to Chi-Chi. I mean, Chi-Chi is probably, and this is my personal guess, I think she's supposed to be in her 40s, I'd say. I'd say probably late 40s. Videl is probably in her late 30s. Now, here's a question, though. Despite the fact Gohan and Videl had a child, basically Pan, why did these two have another child? I mean, Goku and Chi-Chi had 2 children. Oh, and by the way, Goten is here, and he's got a date, and in case you weren't appearance-wise, he looks exactly the same. Also, apparently, he's still living with his parents. Yeah. Trunks. We see Trunks, and he is... Another character looks exactly the same. This is nothing unusual I've seen for anime. Even real life, basically, people after 10 years, they look exactly the same. I mean, look at me. I look like I haven't aged in like 12 years because I've been basically caught on this basically where when I turned 30 a couple years ago, my coworkers were shocked the fact I was 30 because they thought I was my early 20s because I looked so young. Yeah. Some people that can maintain a youthful look when they get older. Some people can't, but I'm probably one of those few people who actually can. Yep. So, and despite the fact Goten is basically trying to date girls, because of course he can, we also see Vegeta. And there is a bit of a change to him. He has grown a mustache. Yes, he grew a mustache. A very thin mustache. Also, we see Beulah, his daughter, who has aged, definitely. She was a little girl when she was last seen. She looked a little bit older. I would say Pan probably looks up to her, probably like a big sister because they're not much older than each other. I would say that she's probably like a year, probably about because if you look at the difference between Pan and Beulah, Beulah looks like in this series she's older than Pan, but compared to Super, where Pan was over before Beulah, that was something else. By the way, does Beulah having lines this episode? Nope, we see Bulma, and she definitely has aged a little bit. I'd say she's probably pushing 50. She's probably over the age of 50 at this point. Yeah, well, of course, Vegeta basically looks like he hasn't aged at all. And they mentioned, oh yeah, we have to basically go to outer space because if the deal is, according to King Kai, who by the way is still on the Grand Kai's planet, by the way, he's not back on his own planet. Yeah, because in Super, he's got his planet back, which has never been explained in the series. And here, he's still on the Grand Kai planet without Gregory and Bubbles. Yeah, there's no explained reason why they couldn't come with them. And he did, by the way, he's still dead. And Super, he's still dead too. They keep that, but they kind of bring back the planet without explanation. So, he tells Goku that they need to bring back the Dragon Ball Black Star within 1 year, otherwise the Earth will explode. Wow. And that was the end of episode 1. 2 is basically showing off all the other characters. Yeah, where Trunks is the president of Capsule Corp now. What the heck, Bulma's role in this. Also, where are her parents? Yeah, it's been assumed they actually died prior to the events of this series. Yes. And Vegeta's like, yeah, we need to keep our strength in these times of peace. Yeah, it must have been 20 years of peace for you to get freaking bored, Vegeta. Also, apparently, there's these guys who really wanted to kidnap his daughter. So badly. And they end up kidnapping Goku. And then eventually we had Goku, and he's like, "You can keep him. I don't freaking care." Yeah, because I thought it was so funny the fact Vegeta would do that. So we need to have a spaceship, and it looked like a giant octopus. Yeah, though surprisingly, it doesn't have the ability to turn into a capsule. Yeah, that was one thing I'm like, really? Why wouldn't you have that ability? Yeah, that's one thing I thought was quite odd that they apparently don't have that feature here. And Pan really wants to go along, but she can't at the moment, so she goes to spar at Mr. Satan's gym. Mr. Satan, he has changed a bit. He is still the same shape. I would say his face has changed a little bit. He's still bulky. Gotta praise him for keeping him in shape for all these years. And he apparently has got a little bit bald, and he's got almost like a full lamb chop beard. That's what he's got now. Basically, we had before was basically sideburns and Fu Manchu mustache. Now he's almost like a full beard, which kind of makes sense. Also, he has a thing where he rubs his face against Pan's face. Even though she's like 13, she still doesn't like it at all. Heck, even when she was 4, she didn't like it at all. So, they basically build a spaceship. Trunks has to come along because, of course, he has to. And Goten has to go. Gohan did volunteer to go on. All of a sudden, they change. Oh, yeah, I can't go. Yeah, of course, he wanted to go, and then he just changed his mind last minute for some reason. It's never explained why he wouldn't go. So they put the spaceship together. Looking out, the Gohan's a genius because he basically did a lot of study. Because he's basically, I would say he's sort of like a scientist in the way, probably because Chi-Chi basically forced on him. So it looked like their Trunks basically is all set to go, and Pan just sneaks on board. Also, she takes the time to, because she's so angry at everybody because she can't do anything because she's a little girl. She proceeds to kick the side of the ship, which knocks one of the ports out. By the way, this comes to play the following episode, where she basically sneaks on board while everybody's about to take off, and they take off without having Goten on board. This because his girlfriend decides to basically call him when he's just about to leave. Yes. And by the way, he's using a 90s cell phone, these big bulky things. I've seen we pull out the antenna, pull out the side. Yeah, he apparently has these now because of course it's the future. Why not have a phone? Why not have, I don't know, a frickin' smartphone? I think in Super they do have smartphones. I don't remember if they do or not. They probably do. So they blast off, and of course, he had to try to cancel his date, but it was change of plans. I'm free. Want to go on that date now? And that's the last see of Goten until the baby Saga. Yep. And of course, Bulma notices a piece of the ship fell off. What piece of the ship fell off? They don't really say what it is. She finds out what it is, and we don't see what it is. Yep. So everyone's like, we gotta go back to Earth, but then they crash on a nearby planet, where they need to get some parts because their stabilizers fell out, and they proceed to go to nearby town, and then they get mauled by frickin', well, how should we say, street merchants, basically try to buy everything. They don't. And then they go to the hotel, and of course they also say some stuff is pretty expensive, and of course they get their hotel room. Of course the robot, there's this bellhop robot thinks Goku is basically baggage because it's a child. Carries out of the room, thinks it's a bridal suite. Of course, everything is like fine. Of course, Pan proceeds to take a bath. Trunks lays on the bed, and Goku gets some food. And Pan basically knows after a while the wire won't shut off, and these are strange numbers. Yeah, apparently everything is being charged for. You're charged watching TV, sitting out of bed, running water, getting food. Heck, they even charge people to look at this strange object. I'm like, really? Yeah, and lucky enough that Trunks is really strong because he had to break the chain. How the heck the bed basically put a chain on his belt is never explained. And they sneak out of the room, of course, Goku takes some food. And then after and of course they try to go back to their ship, and it's taken. The luck enough they find it pretty easily. Beat up like two, and of course they sneak around, and by the way, they're on this planet for like 3 episodes. Yeah. And they're sneaking. They, after making some noise, they beat up all the guards, take the ship back, no problem, and they drive out of the place, come across 2 of the dictator's hired workers. Goku easily dispatched him, with the exception of the guy who was who was like the silent type. He looked a little more serious. He had to look like a joke. Oh yeah, you're my highest paid people. Really? You're weaker than freaking Goku. And of course, because apparently stealing back their spaceship is a freaking crime, so let's put up bogus wanted posters having Pan have a freaking knife, which he doesn't have, Trunks having freaking machine guns, and Goku doing this. Now Goku doing that's fun. That's fine because that's actually funny. But Trunks having guns, like, wow. It's like, I get maybe why they thought Pan probably has a knife because of the way she's dressed. I mean, her outfit is simply this: a orange bandana, a red shirt, which shows off her midriff, and jeans, a chain, a wallet chain, and sneakers. That's her attire. Trunks, coat, scarf, long sleeve shirt, shorts, and sneakers. Goku, of course, is in his training gi. So, who do you think is more prepared, basically, when it comes to being an adventurer? You might be thinking, is it Trunks? No, it's probably Goku. Yeah. So, and they stay at this nearby place where they try to get parts. Yeah, and it turns out because apparently the rent is so high that there's these robots come by to repossess their living space. Yep, because they have to for some reason. Yeah, because they can't afford it because apparently the job's not paying enough. So eventually, after running for a long time, they realize that, yeah, we should probably turn ourselves in. But they're able to beat through the guards no problem, gets the dictator really quickly, and is like, yeah. And then Goku proceeds to fight his hired help, which, yeah, he realizes though that he tells Trunks Pan, like, I'll fight him. And it's a pretty decent battle. And after defeating him, he's like, yeah, I'd love to fight you again, but just make sure you get some training in. He's like, I agree. I'd love to fight you again. And then he proceeds to quit working for the dictator. And like, of course he has the famous line of, money won't buy you everything. Because apparently he loves money. And Pan is like, he's like, I'll do anything. He says, okay, first, I want you to get rid of the rent. No more rent. He's like, okay. And apparently off screen, they try to take the big, humongous safe that has all the rent contracts. Also, he revoked the law, basically, where it was illegal to own a spaceship. So if anyone wants to leave, they can. And of course, Dictator gives them free parts. They fly off. They stop by this one planet where they just find their first Dragon Ball. Well, of course, while they're on the planet, we get introduced to Giru. Yes, the first original character series who becomes reoccurring. The Dictator, he shows up once after this, toward the end of the series. But that's the last see of him. Yeah. So they stop by this where everything is like so big, and they eventually find the Dragon Ball. Like, thanks to Giru basically eating up the Dragon Arena in the previous episode. Everything is like so big. Why everything is so big? No idea. And then eventually the Dragon Ball is caught in this ogre's tooth. And Goku takes it out through some persuasion. They get the Dragon Ball out. The ogre basically thinks nothing of it. And the ogre is never seen again after this. And then they stop by. And then we have another planet they stop by. We get another Dragon Ball. The second one they get. And like, they find it in the hair of this woman who apparently is off to be a bride to this giant catfish creature who apparently can create quakes. He really can't. So basically we have Trunks dressed up as a woman. Yep, we have Trunks dressed up as a woman. For reasons, because he's the only one who can fit in the outfit. I mean, Goku can't do it because he's too small. And apparently we can't ask Pan. Nope, can't ask Pan to do this. Had to get frickin' Trunks because he's the only one. And of course, the one way to beat him is to just clip off his whiskers. And they eventually do get to his place after Trunks at the collar. And like, I can't think of it. Let's do it in private. It's like, okay. So he proceeds to swim, and of course he goes underground in a cave, which apparently is inside of a frickin' volcano. Which I'm sure everybody watching this, but I assume he came from there, but nope, he came from the water. And eventually find out that Trunks is a guy. And it turns out that his quake powers are actually fake. He doesn't have the power to create quakes. He has the power to detect quakes. And you got big one. Look up. Goku basically easily dispatches the erupting volcano. This, of course, happens right after they clip up all his whiskers, and of course they proceed to clip to the other one. But nope, he wakes up after basically Trunks gets him drunk. Goku destroys it, and of course he gets the Dragon Ball, no problem. And then we have the start, at the end of this, we start of the next 4 episodes of this. The lewd episodes, where we have the Para Brothers. Yeah, we have the infamous scene of basically them dancing. Yeah, that clip basically you've seen, basically what a lot of people don't like about the series. Yeah, that happens in this very saga. So these 3 brothers, basically, where they take this Dragon Ball to Colonel Muchi Muchi, which is the guy they think is the spokesman for Lewd. Yeah, it turns out Lewd is a robot. Yep, he's a robot. So, first guy comes back basically after the Para Brothers basically trap Goku and the group in a asteroid because they have the Air Dragon Ball. So, first guy says, I couldn't find any Dragon Balls. He gets turned into a doll. Yes, a doll. And throw in the pot and basically feed to Lewd. And the Para Brothers like, okay, we found a Dragon Ball. Here you go. Good job, but you forgot another Dragon Ball. Like, okay, I'll give you a chance. Go find and bring it to me quickly. He's like, yes, sir. And they proceed to rescue them from these worms. And then they basically get the Dragon Ball back by taking out their vests, which I thought these were kind of weird. And then they proceed to dance. Yes, dance. Which, this comes to play later in a hilarious moment. So let's just dance. Let's boogie. Yeah, have the two younger brothers basically be flashing lights and have the older brother basically be freaking speakers. And eventually Trunks, Pen, and Goku. And Goku's like, why are you dancing for? And eventually they use the dancing to beat up the 3. And eventually they find the Dragon Ball after some time. And of course Pan sneaks aboard the spaceship. And they go to the planet. And they proceed to present it. And of course Pan tries to take back the Dragon Ball they took. And then she turns into a doll. And then the guy who's the actual spokesman, who's Bub Muchi Muchi, he takes Pan to be his own personal doll. Because he's obsessed with dolls. Trunks and Goku eventually find the place. Of course, the Para Brothers are not on board the spaceship. Yeah, Goku and Trunks beat the crap out of them and tie them up. They bring them there, and eventually they're basically disposed as dolls. And then Mucha basically just decides, oh yeah, grab all the followers, and then proceeds to all of the frickin' dolls to feed Lewd. And he takes Pan to dress up as a doll. And he's like, man, he doesn't like the clothes, so he proceeds to try to strip her when she's a doll. Yes, try to take off her top, but he gets her up to not once, but twice. First by the completion of the process, and then he tries again later. He tried to do it, and he gets her again. This time by somebody very important. Dr. Mew. Yes, he makes his first appearance here. The whole purpose of this character being here at this point in the saga, this is of course toward the end of it, is to set up the baby saga. Yep. And he proceeds to watch, and of course, Lewd, and of course, the Count basically proceeds to activate Lewd, and he looks like a giant baby. And Goku and Trunks fight him for a good period of time. Eventually, of course, the guy is turned into a doll, and the Pan doll is trapped with him inside the thing, and they all go inside of Lewd, and of course, Goku and Trunks are battling him. Of course, you have Dr. Mew watching this. And of course, Pan first punches him for her humiliation, and tries to tell him basically, gets him to how they get out of the place. And then she's like, Para Brothers! Use your dance, make him talk. And they're like, sure. Yeah, and they proceed to dance. They're like, okay, destroy this thing and we'll get out of here, no problem. But they need telepathy to tell Goku. So, and the Para Brothers like, okay, we can use telepathy. Of course, the Colonel can't. So, and of course, they try to use numbers. Goku, of course, is not good in that. That part is true because that's been good. That's been a factor for him since Dragon Ball. So, Glad they kept that there. So they try to use words to break it, and of course what we had to do through singing, and then eventually like, oh yeah, we actually can do it with normal talking, and eventually just they destroy the thing, and then they get out, they get back both Dragon Balls, and of course Giru doesn't do much of anything in this particular set of these few episodes. He does pretty much nothing. Oh yeah, at one point he actually eats the control panel, and Pan punished him by tying him up and hanging from the side, so he can stop eating because they gotta find an area source for him. So they find now, of course, they get another Dragon Ball, no problem. They get the third one on a desert planet they just happen to land. Of course, Goku and Trunks really want to go back to Earth and jump out Pan and get back Goten. Pan gets upset by this, goes up to cry in a corner, and they land on this desert planet, and then, of course, they fight a giant worm, which damages a ship, and Goku proceeds to, while Trunks basically tries to fix the ship, Goku fends off the creature. Pan, of course, wanders off on her own. Look up, Gero gets worried, goes off, and of course, finds Pan and the Dragon Ball that's on this planet. Yep, finds both of them. And then eventually, of course, at defeating a worm, yes, Gero defeats a giant worm. And eventually, everybody's reunited. Of course, they find a water reserve to basically fill the ship. And Goku proceeds to go swimming. Also, the first time Goku does this, when he does swimming, he proceeds to take off the clothes. And Pan's like, Pan! And of course, Pan's like, Grandpa, put your clothes back on. And he's like, I never swim with my clothes on. And of course, he proceeds to tie his clothes on top of his head. And of course, the guy goes with him. So, of course, in the whiskers stuff, and the guy with the giant cat creature, he says, our people grow normally, and of course Pan doesn't really explain to him. Yeah, it was a wish that basically made him turn into a child. Of course, Goku does mention back in the pilot episode that he actually really liked being an adult. He loved it. He also mentioned that apparently when Pan was younger, they used to take baths together. Yep, they used to take baths together. My guess with some grandparents, that actually is kind of true, but I'm not going to speculate on that. So he swims. Of course, Pan gets one. Of course, they proceed to play. Ship gets refilled. They fly off. And, of course, they have to look for basically avoid Dr. Mew for a while. And eventually, okay, we see this planet. Oh, yeah, it's Giru's home planet. They get down there, and it's almost like a post-apocalyptic, like, planet where, like there's a city in ruins. Not, like, complete ruins, per se, but there's no people. But then they yell, like, is anybody there? And all of a sudden these robots look exactly like Giru. Oh yeah, and these episodes also introduce Generaldo, who becomes one of the villains for the Baby Saga. Well, the early part of the Baby Saga before they go back to Earth. To fight Baby. Baby hasn't shown up yet. And this lasts for 2 episodes. Last 2 episodes basically on this particular planet, but looking at this saga, this part of the series is continued in the Baby Saga because it continues there. So, and of course, the 3 people show up, and of course, Goku's like, I've had this power in quite a while. And of course, these 3 robots are recognized as the Stigma Force. Yes, the Stigma Force. And Goku and Trunks fighting for a bit, and of course, Pan gets away. He thinks that Gero betrayed him because he tells like these 2 people that Generaldo wants, and they have the Dragon Ball. And he tells him to like leave Pan alone. Probably because basically he doesn't want to hurt Pan because he sees her as a friend. Despite the fact, a lot of the time when she's seen interacting with Giru, she's always beating him up. Probably because, well, he saved her life on that previous planet they were on. And because Giru probably thinks of Pan as a close friend. He doesn't want to hurt her. Like, he doesn't mind hurting Goku and Trunks because he thinks that the General wants to see these 2, not Pan. Probably because she's young. So they fly up, of course. The arc ends with Pan thinking that Giru betrayed her. Yep. Now, and of course, here's my opinion of this particular episode. I know this arc is despised. People hate this arc because of how freaking bad it is. Me, I think it's okay. It has a good hook to it. I think the animation is really good. I think the voice actors, and now I have never watched the English sub for GT. I have heard that the Japanese song for this series is better than the dub. I haven't heard it, so I haven't. The song for this one's okay, but it's similar to what Funimation used for Z. Yeah, very similar one. But I prefer for Z. I prefer open theme song. I prefer Pump Up the Dragon than the movie theme because I love Pump Up the Dragon. It's a great open theme song. I'm surprised the Funimation didn't keep that song, despite the fact people love DBZ. I mean, people may like the Ocean dub, but people love Pump Up the Dragon theme song because they think that's because, in my opinion, it's one of the greatest anime opening themes of all time. This one, the one I see here, is okay, and plus also, I thought it was kind of weird, basically the way that it's kind of like basically I don't know if it's a gag or like let's just say like I don't know what you would call it, like a thing when you pronounce like. I've never heard anybody refer to basically how they pronounce the letters GT the way narrator does it. Otherwise myself. Where like next time on Dragon Ball GT. Whereas like basically almost like a holding of a letter. I've never heard anybody ever refer to the series as that. Nobody. At all. I think that's cool, the fact that the dub narrator actually does that. I don't know how anybody feels about how he pronounces the letters GT, but I think it sounds awesome. That's just my opinion on the matter, okay? So yeah, that's it for the Saga review. I know this one's quite long, but I covered 16 episodes. Next saga is much longer. It's the Baby Saga, the saga that everybody loves, and what a lot of people think is the best saga of the whole series. Well, I think I think all the sagas are actually pretty good. I do think the Back to Black Saga, Dragon Ball Saga is the weakest saga of the series. But I don't think it's the worst. That's just my opinion on the matter, okay? So, next review, next time on GT, I will discuss the Baby Saga. But next video probably will be a review of Cautious Hero. Yep, I'm probably going to start that series. I'm almost done with the second light novel, so I'm probably going to start the series probably today, okay? See you in the next video. Bye.